I'm Tim Zajkowski. The premise of this show is simple. I have conversations with entertainers that no one's ever heard of. I'll be shooting the breeze with actors, directors, writers, comedians, athletes, musicians. Simple entertainment. Hi, welcome to Anybody Who Ain't Anybody. My name's Tim Zajkowski, and today we're on location in my living room, Wyandotte, Michigan, and I'm sitting here with a very special guest, a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Keith Ruff. Keith, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, hey, Tim. How you doing?
You've done this 1,000 times.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Well, you being on stage, how much is written? How much is made up? I know there's not exactly percentages,
Yeah,
but
that's a good question because it takes all of that to be a comedian. That's a good question. Comedy is, to me, I can't speak for all entertainers, all comedians. I don't write funny things, okay? I see things and I make it funny.
right.
Okay. And when you see things, you're seeing the same things that other people see. So when you put a punchline on the end of it, they're not only laughing at the punchline, they're laughing at what they saw.
Their own experience.
Exactly.
You reminded them of it.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to work with George Carlin.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, twice as a matter of fact. Pine Knob, and a brilliant guy, a funny guy. And that's what he did. That's what the great ones did. They saw funny things and they gave it life. You know, they put a twist on the end of it, you know.
It was Seinfeld that says there's 3 types of comedy. There's the kind of comedy that can make your friends and family laugh. There's the kind of comedy that you can make strangers laugh. There's the kind of comedy that you can make strangers pay you to make them laugh. And that's the one we're going for, you know. And it's really, yeah, and sometimes, like, you'll be working, and maybe the first show on Friday, everything's working. Same material, second show on Friday, nothing.
Yeah.
And what I heard, and it didn't answer every question for me, but somebody says the reason white guys can't, or it's harder for them to touch on the racial things. The example given was in Germany during the Second World War. The Germans had the power over the Jews. The Germans had the guns and the power. For the Germans in power to make fun of the Jews, that's kind of sissy, you know. It's, for the Jews,
wow, what a great way to put it.
To make fun of the Germans, now that took cojones. And now the white guy at this time is in power in the United States. And it was like, you know what, that makes sense to me. It doesn't answer every question.
Yeah.
You know.
What a great way to put it. I never would have thought of that. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
You know, it's among the reasons we're here today, is this the racial, the cultural things that are different between the white guys and the black guys, and so that's.
The word culture is important too because, you know, you talk about white comics, black comics, racism. Black comics tend to talk about real things and what happened to them. And that's important because race matters in certain towns, and this is where your ability as a comic, you have to know what works and what doesn't work. You know, you can't work the Upper East Coast and do Dead Kennedy material. I've seen a comic whose name I won't mention because I know him and he's still on the circuit, get his whipped after the show.
Oh, no way.
For doing Dead Kennedys.
You'll have to tell me that after we get done.
My whole Southern routine, you know, I cut it off at Cincinnati. I work past Cincinnati. I don't do the very funny material, okay?
Right.
But they take it as you come here, you know, and you're going to make fun of us. You know, you do that Iowa run. You can't do John Deere jokes. Everybody in the audience has got a green jacket on and a green hat with a deer on the front of it, you know. So it's the subtle racial part of comedy that nobody wants to talk about, but it exists. You know, when you're going from town to town, you have to be aware of what area am I in? What can I get away with?
And sometimes you don't know until you're on stage.
Yeah, sometimes you're tired. You're driving all day, you're flying, so you don't think. You go on stage and you spit this material out, and then all of a sudden you're a black comic and you got like 50 Klan members.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys, I forgot where I was at, you know. How about this one? You're flying to a gig. All week, you're saying to yourself, it's a 6-hour flight. I am not going to tell the guy next to me I'm a comic, you know. Then you get on the flight, everybody's saying, what do you do? I'm a lawyer. What do you do? I'm a doctor. What do you do? I'm a comedian. Oh, God. Are you? Hey, tell me a joke. Now for 6 hours.
Right.
You know, you're a sit-down comic. You're not a stand-up. You're a sit-down comic now.
Tell me, is this funny?
Yeah. And if you're not telling him a joke, he wants to tell you one. Chances are you wrote that joke, you know.
Or you've heard it 500 times.
Or you've heard it, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're a black comic like me and it's a white guy, it's like, no offense, but.
No offense.
Am I right, Brian? what are you going to do? You're stuck for 4 hours with this guy.
No offense.
You know,
yeah.
when do we pull in?
That is hysterical.
When do we pull into San Ramon, California? Yeah, this guy here.
Yeah, and you're flying over Iowa.
Yeah, you know.
I love that no offense thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And being a white guy, you know, there's.
I didn't notice that.
No, I know. That's why I pointed it out. But that's one of the kind of things that white guys really got to watch. So.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it's just the opposite with you guys. You know, you guys can't do the.
I mean, we're going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, for some reason, and I don't know who wrote this. For some reason, black comics can somewhat, in a sort of way, get away with black on white material. You know, well, white people do this, and you know, Pryor did it for years, and your Martin Lawrence's, you know, and for some reason, it was accepted. I think maybe because of the treaty we had with each other over the past 400 years, I don't know. But when whites tend to reverse it, it's like you guys are picking with us. Now I'm a comic, okay? First of all, I take everything lightly and everything funny, you know. Mm-hmm. What's his name from Kramer when he went off on the two black guys? Right. Me and 3 other black comics, we were dying laughing because we're comedians.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know, and to us, it was funny to see him melt down on these 2 guys. You know,
that's what's fun about being a comic. We're in the back of the room watching the other comics, and the way I describe it is, we laugh if they're funny, and we laugh if they're not.
Even if they're not trying to be funny, if it comes off as funny, you have every right to laugh. Look at female comics. Female comics talk about us. You know, they talk about men. And, you know, the things that we can't do.
Yeah, and if we can do it, it's not for very long. You know?
Yeah, you know, and you got gay comics, so, you know, you are what you speak, you know, sort of like.
And that's kind of what this show is about, is talking to the people who, they're out there doing it. They get out, you get off your butt, you head out on the road, you stand in front of a group of people, and you hope you can make them glad that you're here. When you walked up to me at Chaplin's.
Yeah, some years ago.
So many years ago, and you says, Tim, I've known you for years. You've always been good to me. I've never asked a white guy this question before, but what is it about black people that white people hate so much? And it's seriously a heart attack. And I looked at you probably just as serious, and I said, to be honest with you, I just ain't got that kind of time. That's
well, I asked you that question for a number of reasons, because, you know, I always looked at you as a friend, and you were a comic. And these are the things comics talk about in the green room. These are the things comics talk about, because, remember, unlike any other profession, we speak for a living, and we speak often. We speak nonstop for an hour on stage, and we talk about everything. Right. So why not continue the conversation with a fellow comedian?
Mr. Keith, thank you for being on the show.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I had a really good time. My fun. Man.
Yeah, and we'll sit down and do this again. Maybe you'll be working some club somewhere.
Anytime,
we'll get together.
Anytime, man.
So
you're 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah. Keith Ruff, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. All right. There you go. Hey, thanks.
Hey, that was fun, man.
Thanks.